Hi guys, and welcome to Angling For You, and today you join me at Elm Tree Farm Fishery, and it's around the Rotherham area. And I've not been here before. We're here with quite a few members. We've got Dan, we've got Matt, we've got Glyn, got Adrian, we've got Kelv's even here. So we've got quite a few people that have dropped down to fish with us today, and just some have fished it, some haven't. And you know, it's going to be a good day hopefully. Like I say, I've never fished it before. It's full of F1s apparently. The carp are a little bit more elusive, but it's got a lot of other fish in there as well. So we're really just going to feed shallow while I fish a method across to the far bank, and see if we can have a few fish while I feed that shallow line up, and then hopefully drop on some shallow. So without further ado, let's get into it. Right guys, into the first fish. Probably an F1 I would have thought. Keeping that rod nice and low. Hooked this on a quick stopped corn. Got Bait Tech sweet coconut and an hybrid feeder to start it off. Bit of reader attached to us as well as a fish. It's like a little F1. Beautiful. Oh, what's going on with this plant attached to me like? Get that off first before we unhook him. Always better to break it off and then end up pulling it off a little bit easier. What a little F1 up in the corner of the mouth. Let's get him back. Back out there and see if we can find another one. So we found a quick stop needle. I'm only going single corn to start off with. I don't fish double corn very often. I know people do really well with double corn and they catch that edge on double corn, and I'm just not a double corn fan. I do use it from time to time. I just don't know if I just think it looks so natural. Right guys, on the pellet wag, I've just noticed that the F1s are a little bit further away and they're not really playing ball shallow for close in. They're sort of sat a little bit further out. I've just had one before I turned camera on. This is definitely a smaller one than the one that just had, but it's also a method that we don't always cover a lot, so if they stay out there, which I hope they will, then we're able to get some on camera and we'll able to have a little look at it. So the main thing about pellet waggler guys is just repetitive feeding. Now I ain't even got any bait on that, but I'm just going to get a few pouches out just to keep them out there. So I'm feeding 4 mils and I'm about at capacity length, comfortable for firing out these 4 mils with this conditions. And I think that's first tip I'll give you is don't over push yourself. You want to be sort of at the length that you can sort of pull and fire out, and then know that that's the length of where they're going to be. I think that's sort of crucial when you're pellet waggler fishing. I think if fishing it a little bit, you've got to guide your power a little bit more. It can be a little bit more difficult. If you can just, with 4 mils, fire to your capacity, you're going to be more accurate. And I could push to get it out a little further, but like I say, I wasn't able to do that every cast. Get the next pellet on and be ready to go. So it's all about routine, this pellet wagger, getting yourself in a routine. So I get the rod ready, have a little rest in front of, get the rod ready, but we need to get feed out first, because obviously it's a little bit different to your pole. You need to get that feed out there. Once you've got a couple of pouches, get that pellet waggler over the top. I've just gone slightly over where it is, and that's off the back of the feed, and then I can bring it into the feed. It's a little bit different to splash waggling where you're fishing for big carp. These F1s, they want to take it on the drop, so what I'm doing is winding it into that area and feeding on top. And if I hadn't had a sort of taken a couple of seconds, then I'll bring it back in and repeat the process. It's as simple as that really. It's just getting yourself in a routine. I've got a few casts there and nothing to show, so we'll just reel the float in. It's ready to go. Get those couple of pouches out there. Get your waggler and not try and get attacked by a wasp. Straight on top of where we are. I only cast a little bit longer than that, but that's pretty much bob on where we are. And a lot of the times, guys, you won't need to strike them. If you see it go under, you know, strike it, but 9 times out of 10 it's going to take the rod tip round. A quick little flick there just to lift the pellet up as it drops. I'll get one more pouch in and then we'll reel it back in. It's just like normal shallow fishing. It's just about being repetitive and getting in a routine. That was rubbish, that one though, so we'll reel that back in. I'll let that go too. And I didn't feed a pouch. there. Slightly over the patch where we are. A little lick of wind now, just come from behind me. Just get that little reel into closer into where we are. And you won't see from this angle, but just the tip of the rod is under the water. That means that when I reel, it's taking the line under the water, which is stopping the float from drifting. But also I've got the butt of the rod to my right, and that's just perfectly where I need it to be for picking it up. We're in, guys. A lovely bite, that one. Lovely bite, that one. This one feels a little better. Stamp this one. And I saw a couple.
If it's already set up, I'll get it out. I think it's already set up.
There's always a chance as well. It's not a carp, but there's always a chance at carp as well. So they're sort of cruising at the back. Nice F1. It's a lovely fish. Nice chunky boy. Right in the bottom lip, as you would expect. Lovely chunky F1, skitting back in. Get that feed back out there. Before I do that, I can see a nice carp right in front of me, and I'm going to see if I can mug him. And Matt's just seeing the exact same carp at the exact same time, and I had to avert my waggler cast before I landed on the top of his float. Fortunately, Jackson ain't got master casting like that is.
I'm not heavy enough for that thing. That's low.
Get some more feed in. Another thing when you're doing your feed, try not to change where your area of feed is. If you start off, don't follow your float. So even though my float's to the left because we tried to mug that one, we're just gonna keep on top of that same area. I've just seen one swirl behind, so we're just gonna give it a quick cast. Oh, it was right next to it, but I scared it. I need to sort of like creep it into it. That one were a little bit, there it is. You can see that massive one, Matt. It's on the surface over there. Right under the tree. You turn for it. That's right next to him, that. It's about 3 or 4 of them there. Go and take it. Yes, got it. Yeah. I've put mugged.com. Yeah. Dan, you've never seen a mugging like that under the tree at the other side?
You know, I've been watching so many.
Right guys, so it's been a funny old day today. We've not had the wind really for the shallow fishing. So you might have seen a quick run through with some music. I did have a couple on shallow. We had a couple on the feeder early doors. I've mugged a couple with a waggler, and I've caught some shallow on the waggler out at distance, and now I've just got the trusty paste on. And I've had a couple of drops just off camera, and I've had a decent skimmer first drop, and then a nice F1 on a second drop. So that's a positive sign. There's a lot of big carp been moving around, but every time I've put a waggler near them, they've not really done anything. And to be honest, last night it was very cloudless, and it was quite cool. I won't say it was cold. A little bit of mist on the water when we first got here, but it was certainly cooler than it has been. And I don't know if that's to do with it. There's not been a breath of wind on it, which is never helpful if you want to fish shallow. And it seems like a lot of the fish have been pushed up to the far bank, which is from these pegs inaccessible really. Dan and Kelv have been over on the corner pegs, and 19 and 17, and they seem to have done a few up to the island, but tight in. It's just one of those. It's a new venue. I'll be honest, I chose this peg because I didn't want to walk, and it looks pretty nice and there's features around. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of getting working around what they want. But like I say, I've had a couple of fish on paste, and we'll persist on that and see how we get on. I've set the float a little lower when I know that there's another skimmers in the peg. I tend to set my float a little lower because what they do is they tend to do a lot of up bites, and in doing that, if you just have my float a touch lower, you get to see them really clearly. That's a relatively small one, to be honest. The first one I had were a good size, and the one actually that Mr. Jackson had outside of me was a lovely fish. He had that on feeder though, but it was a lovely sized bream. At least 3 pound, I reckon. Way bigger than that little what we just had there, at about 10 ounce. Let's move that across. one looks like a carp actually. It might be a carp or it might be a decent F1. Is that a skimmer? If it is, it's a nice one. Oh, it is, I think. Take my time. Oh no, it's nice, an F1. It's hard to see, it's just a quite long fish that. Underwater. Oh, I didn't like that. It didn't like that. These little small nets. Oh, he's a good F1, he is. He's a proper F1, is this one? He's a proper F1. He's at least £4, that one on. He's a giddy boy. That's for sure. Hooked perfectly in that top lip though. Lovely little size 12, that's a lovely F1 that one. Thought it was a carp when it first set off. Oh, what we'll do is we'll have a little look at the rig and see how we catch them. Right guys, so the rig, nice and simple, Preston cad pot. It's got the 20 Jura, which is very heavy for what we have here, but there's some massive carp I've seen going past, and if they get their head down, I just want to have the gear on ready, but still supple enough to stretch. 019 Guru N-gauge all the way through, got a ProGen 0.5 float. I need to buy some more paste floats. This is just a normal standard float, and I just need to pick up some more paste floats because I've just been matches and things like that, and it's just been decimated. I've got 2 number 8s underneath just to take a little bit of weight to 0.5. I've gone 0.5 because we're about 4 foot deep, down to a size 12 midi carp hook. Simple as that. We've got the Adrenaline Baits red krill, standard 4mm. You can use whatever pellets you want to do at Elm Tree. So yeah, let's get back to it. Let's see if we can stick another one in the bank. In fact, I'll leave it zoomed in on this angle, and we'll see if we can have one, and fingers crossed be a little bit bigger. I'll be honest, I won't do that. Come on. Come on. Right guys, so I have been not putting as many pellets in as I normally would if I were feeding carp. I'm just trying to put small amounts, and sometimes I'm not even putting any at all. I've got the paste, as you'll see, consistency wise is not super wet, but it's also not in a stage where it's swingable, and the reason I've done that is because I want it to stay together when we're in a little bit deeper water. I tend to use a sloppier paste when it's sort of 3 foot or less. 4 foot is a little bit deep when it's super wet paste. Your ideal's around that 2 foot mark when you've got a really sloppy paste. But that doesn't mean that you always do use it, because sometimes if I'm fishing down the edge and there's a lot of fish coming in, I have it at this consistency just so they don't knock it off. Now a lot of these bites have been up biters. So we've got Glyn on his peg, and he's been patient today, to say the least, and it looks like he's up the first carp that we've seen come out today. Most of what everybody's had is F1s. I think Kel might have had a couple of smaller carp. They've been sat in that bar at the back under the trees, quite difficult to cast her. It looks like Glenn's tempted one out. Let's see if he lands it. Looks a nice fish. Hopefully he'll land it. Nice common. Lovely fish, Glyn. Lovely fish. A little skimmer. I mean, I'm happy catching these all day, to be honest, but I prefer them to have a little bit bigger. But I'm not. As long as these bites keep coming, then that's fine. Just in the muscle they come. Right guys, we finished the session and it's only midday, just after midday. I've only had a short session today and it probably picks up, as you all know, towards the later end of the day. I just didn't have that time today to film, but we've had to move around a lot of different methods for us. The guys down the other side and on the corner, sort of peg 17 and 19 and 10, they've caught well shallow and well on the F1s. We could see all the F1s on this peg all across the back bar. They're just under those trees in the cap, not wanting to play ball, although we have wangled a couple out. But we've had to swap methods, and as you've seen in the video, we've swapped methods around, and we got the lovely little bit of video footage of that nice carp that Glyn managed to pop on. So it is a superb venue. There's other specialist ponds and members areas that are on here as well, for if you're wanting to have a look at anything like that. What I will say is, if you are disabled or you do struggle, it is sloping banks, and you do have to, if you don't want to carry it, bring your trolleys to get down to the peg. So all in all, a lovely day, lovely weather, and if you want to join us on the Facebook group and see what other things we get up to, then just jump on there. And if you want to join us on Instagram at angling_for you, that'll be also superb. And until the next one guys, thank you very much for watching. Tight lines.